John Corzine responsible, saying choices made by Corzine during his tenure as chairman and CEO sealed MF Global's fate. I'm joined now by the chairman of the House Financial Services Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations, Representative Randy Neugebauer. Thanks so much for joining us. And I want to read a couple other quotes from the report as well. You said that his failure represents a dereliction of duty as MF Global's chairman and CEO. And those risks were exacerbated by an the risks that they took in their business plan were exacerbated by an authoritarian atmosphere Corzine created at the firm where no one could challenge his decisions. Do you think, first of all, how did you come to these conclusions? What did you see that was most egregious?
Well, I mean, after, 3 hearings, over witnesses, 50 witnesses that we interviewed, and, 43,000 pages of documents, what we began to see was a pattern there where Mr. Corzine came in. He was trying to transform this company into a Goldman Sachs Junior, if you would, and he began to, get some pushback from some of the positions that he wanted to put on with these foreign positions. And so as his risk, I think this is risky. I think there are potential problems here. He fired that risk manager. And so he was determined that he was going to use these RTMs to, turn the company around and increase the earnings. And as people began to question that decision, he ignored it. And as the chairman of the board of this company, he basically kind of mitigated any board supervision as well. So,
yeah, it sounds like you lay the majority of the blame, if not all of it, at his feet. Did anything he do rise to the level of something that was criminal?
Well, I think that'll be for another department or another agency to determine. Ours was not a criminal investigation. We tried to put together a chronology, if you will, of what happened and why it happened and what was going on inside the company. We also say that there was a regulatory failure here, and I don't want to just put it all on Mr. Corzine, but his actions led to the bankruptcy of this company. But obviously there was some regulatory failure there. We don't think that the regulators were talking with each other, and so we make some recommendations about that. We think the disclosures that the company was making may have been misleading in many ways because a lot of people didn't realize that this company was taking these kind of risks, and really until it's too late. So we felt like excuse me.
Yeah, no, you're saying that the regulator was at least in part to blame. Has anything changed then to stop this from happening again?
Well, one of the things that, we want to do is really look at is if there needs to be some streamlining or some consolidation here, because what we had was competing interests. One regulator looking at one part of the business, another regulator looking at another piece of the business, and they really weren't talking to each other until really right there at the end. And, of course, at the end, it was too late. We
mentioned in the beginning there's $1.6 billion in customer funds that are still unaccounted for. Where do you think they are?
Well, we know that there's so many that's tied up in the UK, and this is another part of the report that we talk about, is there's going to have to be some harmonization between, the United States and some of the countries that we have investors in this country trading on those foreign exchanges. There's going to be a hearing, I guess, later on in the spring of this year to determine if some of that money can be recovered for some of the people, that didn't receive all of their money back. The trustees working diligently to do that, and we'll wait to see how that actually plays out. Yeah, important stuff. A lot of people looking for answers in this. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you for having me.